The following episode is bonus content courtesy of the WCS Talks Unplugged podcast, which is produced by the organization Women in Cleantech and Sustainability. Primary financial and production support for Earthlings 2.0 comes from Technica Communications, an award-winning PR firm amplifying breakthrough technologies of the future. Additional support comes from Fourth Power, whose flexible duration energy storage system is purpose-built for peak demand, delivering reliable, on-demand, low-cost power with storage durations that cover the multi-day peaks that lithium-ion can't reach. And if you'd like to support the show, follow us wherever you listen to your podcast, or if you're watching this on YouTube, subscribe to our channel.
Welcome to WCS Talks Unplugged, where we bring you real stories, real solutions for the mind and the planet. This podcast is brought to you by Women in Cleantech and Sustainability, a global community elevating women's leadership, accelerating climate solutions, and championing a more equitable, clean economy. Every episode, we sit down with the thinkers, builders, and innovators, redefining what climate leadership looks like and doing it with purpose and heart. So settle in, take a breath, and get ready for an honest, insightful conversation that just might spark your next idea, shift your perspective, or inspire your own climate journey. Let's get unplugged.
Welcome to WCS Talks Unplugged. We're going to have a candid and heartfelt conversation today with the founder of Women in Cleantech and Sustainability. Not only is this individual my friend, but she's a mentor of mine who has modeled what it's like to be a do-it-first leader, has modeled to me in many ways in how to be a working professional in this industry, and also has set the standard in what it's like to create something out of nothing, and now has impacted over 20,000 women internationally. So to me, to have this conversation with Lisa Ann Pinkerton, the founder of Women in Cleantech and Sustainability, the founder of Technica Communications, former NPR reporter, journalist, and then, as I mentioned, not only is she all these accolades, she's also my dearest friend. What I like to say, a sister from another mister. Lisa Ann, welcome to a dream that we are dreaming right now together. Welcome to this stage, Lisa
Thank
Ann
you.
Pinkerton.
Thank you. Finally, we have made this idea a reality. I'm really excited.
I know. The ideation of this has been circulating in our conversations for years. And so we have the opportunity today to kind of celebrate, first and foremost, 15 years of this idea that you had. And so I want to just start with that. Like, Lisa Ann, thank you. Thank you for being brave enough. Thank you for taking that step and saying, I'm going to do it.
No one else is going to do it. I'll do it. Fine.
Lisa Ann, thank you for being here today.
Thank you. Thank you for having me, Sarah. That was a lovely introduction. And I just love you so much.
You know, celebrating 15 years, Lisa, let's look back. I mean, 15 years ago, you decided to start Women in Clean Tech and Sustainability. For those that are listening in for the first time, may not have had the opportunity of networking with us in person, why did you do this? Why did you start Women in Clean Tech and Sustainability?
Well, there's the short answer and the long answer. I'll try to go in between. So back in 2009, I was working at a PR firm in San Francisco, and these ladies at the office came back from a Women in Clean Tech breakfast panel thing that the Clean Tech Forum and the Clean Tech Group had put on, and they were just so jazzed and like, that was great. We should do that again. Let's host our own. And then I was like, okay, that's cool, and I'll attend that. That'll be great. Then they never did anything for 2 years. They didn't do anything. And I had left the firm by that point, and I kept waiting for them to do something, and they just weren't going to do it. So after a while, I felt like it was okay for me to do it. And then I kind of looked around at other women's groups that are in the Bay Area, and they weren't active or they weren't having events that I was interested in attending. I was going to these co-ed networking events like the Photovoltaic Society of Silicon Valley. And I
That's a
know
mouthful.
Eric Westhoff used to run those, and they were great events, but I'd be like one of 5 women in the room, and so we would naturally gravitate towards each other, and all the men in the room would assume that I was, right out of school because I was in my 30s and I was young looking young, right? I'm right out of school or I'm somebody's assistant, but not that I was a business owner.
Mm,
And when I told them that I was, they're shaking my hand like, "Wow, that's really interesting. Tell me more." And I was
what
like,
an accomplishment.
"Yeah, smart and pretty. Wow."
Should I
And
twirl
I'm
my hair too?
and I'm thinking like, if I was a guy, that wouldn't be remotely
An issue.
interesting, right? You
No.
expect a man of that age, if they say they're a business owner, that's not surprising to conventional thinking. So, meanwhile, I was also attending these events with women entrepreneurs of the Bay Area, which is how you and I met.
Yeah.
And those events were amazing. The energy in the room was just palpable, and the support and the friendship that came from those meetings. I left those meetings feeling inspired and energized. I could take on the world. And then I'd go to these co ed events, and they would be so lame energetically.
Mhm.
So I wanted to bring these 2 things together, and so then I decided I wanted to start Women in Clean Tech and Sustainability, and then I didn't do it, kept talking about it, didn't do it. And then, sometime in December, my lovely late husband, Julian Adler, looked at me and he said, "You either need to start this organization or stop talking about it because I don't wanna hear it anymore."
That sounds like something he would say for sure. Needless to say, that happened.
So, January 1st, New Year's resolution, I set up the meetup page, and within 3 weeks, we had our first, fireside chat at Sandbox Suites, which I don't even think exists anymore down in,
Nope. Brant Street.
yeah, and then we were off to the races.
Wow, you brought back Sandbox Suites. I was talking about that the other day. You remember that gate, how you would have to run into it, otherwise it would hit you and it would like bruise you
Yep.
because it was so heavy. Like now we're not going down under the street. Now we're on the 4th floor in the financial district in San Francisco. It's just a different time from when we started to where we're at now in the same city, right? Still in the same city, still the same energy that you're talking about cuz every event, our last event gave that same energy that you just described to 100 plus women and men.
I love it.
That energy is still alive in WCS.
Yeah,
And thank you, just a quick plug. Thank you, Julian, for him challenging you in the way that he did, because you didn't sit and wait. And yes, you waited, you contemplated, but you actually took action. You didn't sit around and
mhm,
ask for permission.
yeah. Well, I was getting a lot of mixed advice. People telling me I should go on other people's stages and not try to build my own audience if I wanted to, get whatever messages out that I was looking to communicate. People were telling me it's too hard to start your own community, piggyback on what other people have done, which is, decent advice, but it wasn't what I wanted to create. I wanted to bring, people together and create community because there's just such a lack of it. And you and I both come from also religious backgrounds where we were accustomed to every week going to a group of people and leaving feeling inspired, feeling
Mhm.
energized, and I realized this many years later that that's what I was craving, but in a different form.
In a different form, and this sense of belonging as well with women and clean tech and sustainability, and having this vibration of community and hope, because sustainability is kind of doom and gloom. Unfortunately.
I mean, if you read too much about the scientific papers that are out there and, you listen to a few of my podcasts on Earthling 2.0, right? And if you pay too much attention to the fact that maybe 6 meters of sea level rise is already baked in and there's no going back, like that can be really depressing.
Correct. Some people really take it there and it's rough. But
Mhm.
so 15 years later, Lisa, what's changed? What hasn't in women in clean tech and sustainability? Have you seen progress for us since you started this organization? Really?
Yes, I think I have because I remember attending Solar Power International. My first one is in 2020. Now it's called RE Plus. And back then, like there was maybe 5% women on the show floor. And now if you go to RE Plus, I don't know the exact breakdown and I'm sure they do, but my feeling of it is we're easily 20 or 30%.
If my memory serves me correctly, when the last time you and I went together, which I believe was in 2024, that we were at over 12% population of women.
Okay.
So I didn't go last year, but I do think that the number has scaled up percentages. It wasn't so significant that I could say, yeah, it was 50%, Lisa, and it's
Yeah.
so noticeable. I
Right.
can't say that, right?
Right, okay. And I would agree that, and maybe it's because we're putting on events where we meet more of these women, so we have this feeling that there's more of us there, which, maybe that's all we need to do. Maybe we don't have to worry about hitting a certain metric of 30%, but just helping people feel as if there are more of people similar to them at a conference and helping them to meet each other. I would say that we, as an organization, have many more people attending our events now than we did 15 years ago. I was happy to get 20 people in a room
Yeah.
15 years ago. And that's how you start small. Um, and I have also noticed over the years more women taking on roles that would be considered quote unquote non traditional in the business space. So typically, women are in support roles, HR or office management or PR or marketing, maybe customer support, right? But not always sales or finance
Mm,
or speaking
operations.
operations. Right, or partnerships, biz dev, and we are seeing more women in those roles, and I think it is likely due to the whole industry, spending time attempting to empower gender diversity writ large, and then people feeling more confident to come into this industry from outside who have that expertise and can take on those leadership roles.
I think over the last 15 years, we definitely have seen an influx of women that are coming into women in clean tech and sustainability, transitioning in and out from other industries adjacent to us. Well, obviously engineering tech is really close, right? Obviously because we were founded in San Francisco Bay Area, so we get a lot of adjacent technology individuals that are maybe transitioning into this space. um, Lisa, I'm curious to know if you've noticed any other organizations that kind of spearheaded after women in clean tech and sustainability. Did you see other, women's organizations maybe get inspired? You don't need to name drop any, but if you happen to like see that
Yeah.
after you started WCS.
Yeah, I actually did a big research project around the 5-year mark of WCS because I started recognizing that there are all these um I call them like zombie organizations. Like they exist, but they don't have any meetings, or you
I
can't
get it.
get in touch with anybody. You write them, you find whoever's the head of it on LinkedIn, but nobody gets back to you. And so a lot of those organizations have come and gone. There are a few that have remained steady, and I'm happy to see that they're active just as much as we are because we're all doing something a little bit different and appealing to different aspects of this industry and the people that are in it. I've also seen a lot of co-ed organizations come up to support people who are looking to get into this space. So I also appreciate that as well because you want to be in the mix broadly, and it doesn't actually matter who you're talking to. And sometimes, it's good to have connections of all genders because you just never know who's going to help support you in getting whatever the thing is that you want in your career. And so, what I've seen with women in clean tech and sustainability specifically is that the women who are a part of this organization long term and are active at building their networks and creating community and participating in community and supporting each other. Those are the ones that quote unquote get something out of the organization when they have something to ask or request. When they're looking for support specifically for themselves, they've invested so much in the organization rallies around them to help them. Like hashtag dream job on our Slack, right? One person will post, "Hey, I'm submitting for this role. I'm looking to anybody have any advice or know anybody?" And within an hour or two, there's like
You
5
get
people who are like, "Oh yeah, I know so and so. Like I'll totally help you out. Send me your resume, send me a blurb." Like boom, 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 boom.
it's
That's the
alive.
power of community.
Yeah, it's definitely alive in that community within our organization of that helpfulness, and wanting to lift each other up is definitely there. With new members and members that have been here for,
Yeah,
10, 15 years. Um, in this moment, Women in Clean Tech feels very hopeful.
good.
And I understand that it's like, yes, we're in a, rocky climate. And I'm just curious to know if you feel like anything is missing. You had this vision 15 years ago. We launched a mentorship program. You helped inspire entrepreneurship committee within our organization, now doing the first of its kind all women's pitch competition in clean tech. I mean, I could continue to ramble on, Lisa, of the great things that we've done over the
Yeah.
last 15 years. I mean, is there anything missing? We started this podcast in 2026.
Well, now that we got the podcast going, I would say that is no longer missing, and I'm very excited for it to continue. I think more online content I would like to see, and the podcast is going to really help with that too. And I mean, we're doing so much. Obviously, I'd love to see the mentorship program grow because it's
Yeah.
always oversubscribed
Yes.
and it can only be as big as we have mentors to
Yes.
match with mentees. And I understand all the reasons why somebody might not sign up to be a mentor. And I think but I think there's a lot of reasons why someone would want to. And maybe there's an opportunity for us to communicate that a bit more with our community, and so that we can bring a few more out of the woodwork so that we can help more younger people get their footing in this industry.
I'm so glad you brought that up about mentorship because it's really critical to the longevity and the success of seeing women scale within their careers. And that leads me into the next thing I want to talk about, which is how we were able to survive through COVID, right? Like, how did that happen? Before COVID, we were like, we're never going to go virtual.
Oh yeah,
Basically, like, F
too hard.
that,
Not doing it.
too
It's too hard.
hard.
Yeah,
How did we survive? Like, why is clean tech not for the faint of heart?
because it is a constant uphill battle against incumbents who have a tremendous amount of money. They have regulatory capture. They have policies in place specifically to benefit their businesses. There are a few monopolies involved. If you look at some of the utilities, and there's a massive disincentive to invest in new technology, whether it's cleaner, cheaper, better, faster, doesn't matter. If the old tech still works and I already invested in that and I'm getting my 10% rate of return from the ratepayers on that equipment, why should I change? Same thing with
Yeah.
automobiles. I've invested a tremendous amount of money and engineering and IP into how these engines are built and run. Why would I change that? I'm making money here. Why would I spend more money to make the same amount of money I can make with already the thing that I have? Right. So over time, clean tech is going to, and sustainability practices are just going to infiltrate industry writ large because it is cleaner, better, cheaper, faster, better user experience. But there's this slow, um, we need to wait for things to age out, technology
Mhm.
aging out, and the replacement cycle um, of certain types of equipment. So that's why it feels really slow, and we all feel frustrated because we know we don't have the luxury of time. Like, if you listen to the Earthlings 2.0 podcast, 2 years ago, I interviewed Neil Dykman, who's a longtime investor and executive in this industry, and basically his bottom line is, "Lisa Ann, we could do it really cheaply and easily and fast, but we're not going to. We're gonna do it the hard way and the most expensive way because we can't, get everybody in alignment."
Mm.
So, I would say that is the big reason why it's so hard, but it's also why I really love it because the people that work within this industry, they have grit, they have commitment, they have passion. They're not in this industry because they just happen to live in Seattle, so they work for Microsoft, or they just happen to live in LA, so they work in the entertainment industry, right? They're working within this industry because they have a personal commitment to the mission of slowing down climate change.
It's a very intentional. It's
Mhm.
extremely intentional. The clean tech industry is for those that are committed. It is not for those people that are just going to come by and spectate and dabble and then think that they're going to get rich and then become famous and then jump off,
Well,
right?
there are those people, and they get basically booted out every time we have a down cycle, right? So people talk because this is mainly an energy industry, right? So energy, it has ups and downs. The oil and gas industry also ups and downs. It's very common. And people can lament all they want about being in a down cycle, but I've been through enough of them that what happens is the fat gets trimmed off, the ineffective companies shake out, the strongest companies survive, and over time, you have really, really good companies serving their customers in a strong way. And that creates a strong industry, and you need that, especially if you are an industry that's going up against incumbents with tremendous amount of money to just bury you with regulations, lawsuits, political opposition, and anything else that they can think of.
In reflection of the last, 15 years, can you think of a time where you felt like you needed to step back if necessary, maybe because of way things are, in the political climate, or was it always like we're gonna move forward? What kind of boundaries were you kind of governing at that time when you were in position of leadership in the organization?
Well, well, I think a strength and a flaw of mine is my attitude is like never give up, never surrender. And so there have certainly been times when I felt very frustrated because I am sort of an A type personality, get it done kind of leader. And I needed to wait and allow people time as a community, as a board, to come to certain realizations that I'd already come to and lead through consensus rather
Hmm.
than through like just dictating something. And, there are certainly a few board calls that I wanted to rage quit on because I just felt so frustrated about what was going on and I couldn't stop it, nor should I, right? I had to let it ride itself out. In 2020, right before 2020, I was thinking about seeing how we could transition me out of the chair role and bring in some new leadership because I had been doing it for what? Like, at that point, it was 10 years,
10
right?
years. Hmm.
And then but 2020 happened, and then we had, 2 events, committee board members who just flat out refused to do virtual events. And I love those ladies, and I understand where they were coming from. And, the whole organization could have very easily died during
Hmm.
COVID, very easily, because of all the turmoil that happened around that time with all the uncertainty coming with COVID and everything.
Yeah.
Um But, I took a page out of young Elon Musk book, where he had a tendency if somebody didn't want to do something or said it was too hard or they didn't have enough time to do it or whatever, he'd basically be like, get out of my way. I will do it myself. And I will
You
show you.
sure did that. You did that. I will never forget us doing our first virtual event and you're orchestrating in the back and at the time I think I was still learning how to do chat. Okay, where's the chat button? Now we're all pros, you know.
I mean, I think it helped that I have a theater background and I
It
used to be a,
did.
a television director and stage manager and stuff. So I kind of came to the virtual event activity with that sort of, it's a show, it's a production, that production mindset. And then we did it a few times and then we codified it, we processized it, and then we made it so anybody can do it.
Yep. You definitely did that. And I think we did a virtual event every week for the first year of COVID.
Yeah, pretty much.
I know for sure we did over 54 events that year.
Yeah, because we didn't have anything else to do. We were stuck at home.
Yep.
And we knew that everybody that was in our community, at least, was yearning for connectivity. So we stepped up and did our part because we don't give up.
That's really what launched us to become international. That's what launched
That's
us
right.
to be able to be in other states. Now we have a New York chapter and a chapter in the UK. If it wasn't for that hardship, we would have not taken the risk or forced to go virtual, which expanded our organization and our reach. So that kind of makes me think about what's the future hold for us and these lessons that we have learned in leadership over the last 15 years of we're not going to ask permission. We're going to continue to do things ourselves. We're going to continue to make it happen with our own hands if that's what it takes. And that's one of the things that I've learned from you and seeing you do these types of things and modeling that of like what it looks like to get frustrated because I seen you get frustrated and then how you've channeled that frustration, right? You channeled it and then made something tangible for women now.
I think, what we have always done at WCS is turn a brick wall into a road.
Yes.
And that's something that Julian taught us as well. Like you
Yes, you
keep
did.
beating up against a brick wall, look at it from a different perspective. How can you make this a road? So COVID happened, we went virtual.
Mm-hmm.
And people had to thought they would have to leave the board because they were moving to another town. We turned them into chapter leads and made chapters where they moved. And those chapters are thriving, right? So we look for opportunities in the challenges. And I think that's how you get through life generally, but that's also how you get through this industry as a career. You have to constantly be willing to look at things from a different perspective if you feel like you keep butting up against something. Because force is not something that works in this industry.
So you're going to be met with a lot of resistance in this industry if you try to force things on people, especially if we are not in alignment in value systems. Because once again, we're people that are very committed to our ideologies and we're willing to die on some things about it, right? Some of us are really to stand on this firmly and say, we're not going to back down to this belief or this thought process. I think one of the most radical things that has happened in my life has been committing to women in clean tech and sustainability. I did not intend when I first started to be a lifetime volunteer. This radical idea of finding friends in a place where not only is it a professional place, women in clean tech is very professional.
100%.
I've learned a lot of my public speaking skills from you and observing other professionals, and so many other skills. But the idea that we'll actually find true friendship as well with people that are in tandem with your value systems is what the secret sauce is not only are we in tandem with our value system, but we are working and dedicating our life work towards a similar trajectory. And when I get to be around women like you, that yes, you're amplifying the voices of the women globally. That's your job as a PR professional. And not just women, but obviously your clients. I'm sure you have male clients as well. And needless to say, that is necessary. That was necessary, and it was one of the most radical things that has ever transformed my life, of finding friends like you that not only that can I look up to in a professional way, but also able to build a real genuine friendship where we can bring not only genuine correction to each other, guidance to each other, but as well support in some of the hardest times in our lives, right?
And if you think about it, as women in general, we have to manufacture these communities and experiences for ourselves to bring each other together and support each other. Whereas men, generally speaking, have all of this mentorship and sponsorship support kind of built in already into the corporate culture. If you think about it, golfing is a classic example. How many deals are done on the golf course, right? And yes, women can play golf too, but it's not the same. Like, dudes want to hang out by themselves and be dudes, right? That's just, or running. Like, RE Plus does that, 5K run every year. And I'm like, well, that's easy for guys to say yes to because they can just run back to the hotel, take a shower, and they're on the show floor. Women, like, this doesn't happen
No,
overnight. Like, you got to spend hours on this, you
yeah,
know?
hair
And
takes time to dry.
exactly. And so that's not necessarily something that a lot of women are going to participate in, right? Mentorship in general, men mentor each other without even realizing it. And they may hold back from taking on a female mentor because they don't want anybody to think that there's any impropriety going on. So they may not meet you for breakfast, they won't meet you for dinner or drinks. Lunch is probably the safest thing that they would feel comfortable doing, right? So that again is limiting. And then sponsorship. So, in general, men will champion each other and sponsor them for a promotion or some kind of role very naturally. They don't even think about it, but they're going to think twice about sponsoring a woman for all the impropriety things that I mentioned before.
Yeah, I've seen that, and I'm very thankful once again for Women in Clean Tech and Sustainability in our mentorship program, because we have had the opportunity and the privilege of having male allies to come in a safe place, in a place where all these objections to mentorship to women are overcome.
Nullified.
Right.
Yeah.
They're all nullified, exactly. Now, Lisa, obviously, you being the founder of Women in Clean Tech and Sustainability has impacted your life. I shared with you how it's impacted my life, and also becoming friends with you, how it's changed the trajectory of my life. The fact that I'm an entrepreneur now and a founder now, it's because I hung around with friends and women like you. How has, building something like Women in Clean Tech and Sustainability impacted your career and your life? Like, share with us that insight.
Yeah, well, it certainly gave me something else to talk about besides public relations when I'm attempting to network with people. Because out there in the startup land, there are plenty of people who have either been sold to really badly by PR professionals,
Mm,
or they've taken on a PR team and spent a lot of money for very few results. So when you tell people you're a PR professional, instantly, like, the guards go up with folks. But if I can lead with, being the founder of Women in Clean Tech and Sustainability, that creates a conversation. And invariably, people will say, well, this isn't your day job, though, right? What do you do for work? I'll be like, yeah, that's my volunteer role. And my job is as CEO of Technica Communications.
yeah,
Yeah, so it allowed me to have richer and deeper and more meaningful conversations with people, because I could lead with a different aspect and also lead with something that is work I do that is I'm giving to the industry, right?
yeah.
I'm not taking. I'm coming from a position of giving. And so that certainly was helpful. have spoken on many stages because of the role I have, and moderated a lot of panels. And I'm still doing that through either Women in Clean Tech or as the host of the Earthlings 2.0 show. And frankly, it also allowed me to travel to places I might never have traveled to. You know, you and I went to London and Paris and Amsterdam and Belgium. And I've been to shows and conferences that I would have never thought of going to before, but because I was invited to speak, or we as an organization were invited to host a happy hour, that gave us something to respond to and take advantage of the opportunity. I like to talk about women in clean tech, especially the board and any committee roles that people might have, as being a hidden coaching program and leadership program. They might not sign up for it, but as they go through the organization, they discover their own leadership styles and persona and who they are as a leader or how they want to show up as a leader, simply because we give people agency and we let them lead their committees. We're not going to micromanage them. We trust them. And whatever they think is good for their committee or for the organization, if they have an idea they want to bring it to the table, we fully support that. I love how WCS is like an organic organism, and she just grows and multiplies based on the will and desires of the people that are working within her.
The organization has grown so organically, seeing it morph and grow in New York to San Diego to Pacific Northwest to Vancouver, BC. I can go on and on. Being in Chicago, going to Houston for Afrotech, being called by organizations and people that we've met over the last year, or the last 15 years, it's definitely telling me that the work that we've done is not in vain. Those seeds are harvesting. The soil might have been a little rocky at times and might have got stepped on. Some of them seeds probably got kicked around here and there, but some of them definitely got roots. And this one has deep roots. And so, Lisa, what's next for you? We recently voted you in as chair emeritus. And what's next now?
I think it now is a really interesting time for both clean tech and women generally, because of sort of what we're facing and other aspects of society. You always say that, I'd like to be born in interesting times, and these are very interesting times. And they are times that require community because at the very end of the day, there are more of us than there are of them when you think of anything that you're butting up against. And when you can bring people together, ideas percolate. And when people feel more confident because they're a part of a group, then they feel more empowered to enact the change that they want to see in the world.
Yep.
Right? And everything exists here because somebody came up with an idea, wanted to see it, and made it happen. And that's never an easy road, but it always pays off in the end. Even if the thing you built never actually came to fruition and you end up dying poor and alone, like Nikola Tesla. I mean, we still know his name and we reference him, and the theories that he explored with his inventions are still being explored. So I hope that if there's anything that I can leave with anybody listening to this podcast writ large, is that taking the initiative is part of the magic of this reality. Many people just want to sit back and be followers, and that's fine because the world needs a lot of followers and a lot of doers. But we all also have an opportunity to be leaders if we want to, as big or small as we want to. And it's listening to that inner voice that has that idea, that wants to take initiative, wants to have agency. And rather than ignoring it because of all the fears or uncertainties, or I won't be able to control the outcome, or what if I fail, or anything like that, like that's all fine. We all have those. I still have those. That's all great. Put it in the driver's seat. You're the driver, and make shit happen.
Yep, we did that. You did that. We made some real magnificent things happen. And I want to close with this, giving a call out. If you are listening to this podcast and you are inspired to take action, just do it. Tell us what you want to do, what city you're in, We might already have a member there that can help make community climate action happen. And that's one of our objectives at Women in Clean Tech and Sustainability. We also want to hear your voice. If you are a woman leader in clean tech and sustainability, one of the reasons why we started this podcast is so we can have agency internationally and we can give access to women internationally so we can learn from each other real time. And last but not least, we would like everybody to stay connected with Women in Clean Tech and Sustainability, stay connected with Lisa Ann Pinkerton, stay connected with myself, Sara Fuentes, and invite us. Because just guess what? We might just show up if you invite us.
Careful what you wish for. We're women of action.
That's right. So that's my ask. If you have a project and something that you think needs to be heard or publicized, reach out to us because, like I said, there might be some women in our organization in your neighborhood.
Yep.
And that's how the magic works here at WCS.
Yeah, or like a facility tour or hosting a happy hour at a conference. We can bring a big crowd of people to your booth. Like, that's what we're good at.
Ain't that the truth? Well, Lisa, thank you so much for taking the time today to talk with me and reminisce and talk about your crazy brain idea to start Women in Clean Tech and Sustainability. And thank you for sharing your future. And thank you to the listeners for listening and supporting us and being along for the ride. So thanks. Thanks for being here.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me. And thank you for being our leader now. You're amazing. So inspiring.
That's it for today's episode of WCS Talks Unplugged, where we share real stories, real solutions for the mind and the planet. A huge thank you to our guest for joining us and for the work she is doing to move the clean economy forward. And thank you for listening, for showing up with curiosity, hope, and a desire to make a difference. If you enjoyed this conversation, be sure to subscribe, leave a review, and share this episode with someone in your network who cares about climate, justice, innovation, or building a more sustainable world. This podcast is brought to you by Women in Clean Tech and Sustainability, a global community supporting the next generation of climate leaders. To learn more, become a member, or get involved, visit womencleantechsustainability.org. Until next time, this is WCS Talks Unplugged. Stay inspired, stay engaged, and as always, stay unplugged.
Primary financial and production support for Earthlings 2.0 comes from Technica Communications, an award-winning PR firm amplifying breakthrough technologies of the future. Additional supporters include Align Climate Capital, who is accelerating the clean energy transition by investing in companies that are developing and deploying proven clean energy technology. Forterra, a pioneering green cement manufacturer developing innovative technologies to produce low-carbon cement. And Greenlane, who is working to build a nationwide network of commercial EV charging infrastructure. And of course, our heartfelt gratitude goes out to you, our listeners and fellow Earthlings, for your curiosity and dedication to showing up for us every week. If you have a topic that you'd like us to cover, or if you would like to participate in our Pay It Forward guest model, please contact us at lisaann@earthlingspodcast.com. And you can search our entire archive on any podcast app as well as YouTube. So until next time, keep exploring and caring for this beautiful blue-green space flower that we call home.